And if you didn't know, her hair is a glory unto her. Greetings, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, welcome. Today we are going to be doing this viral braided bald head or braided Baldie, whichever one you want to call it. So pretty much it is one braid going all around the head, one continuous braid. You can freestyle and design it how you want. I tried to get it as close as I could to the original creator, Tookiedidit. So I do want to put a disclaimer out, okay? For this style, it does matter your hair type and texture, okay? If your hair is very coarse, very full, dense, pretty much if you have a lot of hair, the style may not come out, I would say, as sleek, if that makes sense, because as you braid on, the braid is going to get thicker and thicker, and it can cause it to look just a little bulky. But you know what, I've been doing this for years, and I never back down because someone has a lot of hair. I'm up for the challenge. So starting off with a heart at the side, I just sectioned off the different sections. And far as the design go, you want to use your comb as if it was like a pen or a pencil, and you really want to draw out the shape that you're going for. Okay, so just imagine your comb was a pencil and you're drawing a heart. You want to just pretty much round it off and use the same idea to create your design. I do have more detailed videos on my page on how I do the stitch braids and some designs, so make sure you go and check out my other videos. So I did continue to look at her video as a guide, and I'm just shaping off and rounding off as needed. And you'll see that I split the hair in half for a lot of the design. So now I'm going to carry that heart on up, and I just parted it out, and on the other side I'm gonna bring it right down. This can be pretty simple if you just go along with the flow. It seems hard, but again, it's one continuous braid, so it's pretty much a drop and pick. You braid, you drop the braid, then you pick the braid back up. And that's throughout the whole style. You continue to braid, and then you drop the end of the braid and you pick it back up to continue to braid. All right. So now I'm getting ready to go around this little loop here. And I'm using the pure old braiding gel and a little bit of shining jam for this style. So now I'm getting ready to do one of those loopy loops. And as you can see, I just parted off a small piece on the side that I'm going to be looping around. And this braid is going to come straight down right here, and you'll see me loop it around. I hope you can get a good idea of how I did it. You see me carrying it around, and then I'm getting ready to drop it so I can part off my next section. When you hear me say drop, I'm just pretty much say you let the braid go at that point to part out the next section. And you want to really take your time. If you watch my videos, you know I say to get the perfect part, so very clean parts, you want to go over it again and again until you get it to perfection. Of course, the videos are clipped because these videos will be an hour long if I really, or over an hour if I really let you, go throughout the whole process. But you'll see that I continue to go over and over the part until I get it to my liking. So now I'm parting off my next section, and I'm going to pick the braid back up and continue to braid on. This one is going to go straight up and come back down and around. So as you can see, as I got around that loop right there, the braid is starting to bulk up, and it's starting to get a lot thicker in size. So when I first started off, everything was pretty sleek, and now as I'm continuing the braid, it is getting more bulky. So be mindful of that. I would say if you're doing it for content, you want to use a client who has pretty moderate to fine texture hair. Clients who have a lot of hair, very thick and full, may not be the best candidates, like I said, for a sleek look. Now, for somebody who's just dying to have the style, go for it. You still can, achieve nice results, but just give them a little disclaimer. Hey, this style varies upon client depending on your hair type and texture. And a lot of styles are like that. Sometimes people will bring you a picture and they're like, hey, I want this style and I want it exactly like this. But guess what? You and that other person are two different people. So some things may vary. Okay, so now I'm coming around the back and you can see I'm pretty much just shaping everything out. So it's better to go ahead and pretty much subsection the parts that you want to braid. So when you want to curve and things like that, you want to go ahead and section off the parts where you're going to be going, if that makes sense. So you see I just braided off that part in the middle because eventually I'm going to be coming around the loop and I'm going to braid that around as well. So I would say use clips or rubber bands, or I just braided it to section off your sections ahead so that when you get to that part, as you see, I just released the braid and then I continue to braid on. And like I said, I've been doing hair for years, so I could already look at the picture and tell that my daughter did have too much hair for the sleekness of this style, but I really wanted to try it, so I just went on ahead and gave it a whirl. And I think it was a good idea to show people how it will look on people with more dense hair. So now at this point, I'm going to be adding a heart in the middle here, and you can do however you like. It is really a freestyle thing, and I really wish that maybe I had freestyled it a little bit more versus trying to follow her pattern, because then that way I could have maybe made the braids a little bit smaller. I would say that could help to make the braids a little bit smaller. But here we go. I've parted out my heart shape. Just like I said, as if my comb was a pencil, I just rounded the tops and I brought it together at the bottom closely to the end of the braid where I left off, so that I can go into the heart with that braid. I hope this makes sense. So when you're doing a heart, you always want to part it down the middle, and then I section off one side of the heart so that I can deal with the other side. And once you part it down the middle and section it off, you're going to part the middle curve of the heart. And always adding that product on both sides and using your comb to really smooth it out. So now I'm picking up my braid. And I don't know if you noticed right there, I kind of took a little bit of the braid out. This helps when you are doing the drop pick method, or when you're doing one continuous braid. It helps to kind of take the braid back a little bit so that you can get a good start. So at this point, you guys probably can't tell, but my daughter started to get very tender in the head and she was sniffling a bit or so. And that really discouraged me because, hey, this is supposed to be fun. This is for content. I don't really want her to be in pain. So I tried to take it as light as possible and get done as fast as I possibly could. So we are continuing to work on that heart. I'm just going around the curve at the top. I'm going to bring it down halfway to the middle and then curve it back up. With that said, I'm pretty much just going in the shape of a heart. It's that simple. Yeah, this girl has so much hair. Like, look, when I released this braid, like right here, I know I said back there it was getting thick, but when I got to the heart, it got really thick, okay? Really, really thick. But I continued to press through. Okay, I continue to press through, and we had to babysit. You see, she has my youngest daughter, and she is watching Gracie's Corner, and you'll also see some of my sons pop up here and there, so we were really juggling. Okay, so now you see me sectioning off. Again, remember that part that goes down the middle about halfway. I'm sectioning that off on the other side so that I can pick up my braid and continue to braid it on. Going around that shape of a heart, and you should start to see your heart form at this point. Alright, so I'm all done with the heart, and now I'm just parting off my next section, which is kind of like another heart going around that heart. It's like the line that kind of traced the heart. So I'm just sectioning that off, and I'm going to go ahead and continue to braid on. Again, take your time. Don't rush. Okay, that's the key to getting your style neat and perfected. You don't want to rush. So in the front, there were a lot of little loops and loop-de-loops. So I'm going to start creating that. And again, I'm just parting it in the shape that I'm going, okay? So I parted it with a curve around the front. And as you deal with the front, if the person wants dramatic baby hair, you want to go ahead and section off that baby hair so you don't catch it up while you're braiding. Okay, I kind of braid my baby hair so it don't get in the way. And again, I'm taking that braid up just a bit so I can get a good start. Make sure you're using product and the braid is fairly saturated. And I'm just going to braid it down. I have two separated pieces. I'm going to braid it down, and then I'll loop that braid around. Here I go, keeping my hands in place and moving around her head so that I can loop it around. That's another thing with the designs. You want to really move around as needed. Don't be afraid to come around the client, move to the front, move to the back. Do whatever you need to do for your comfort and to really get the design in place. Okay, here I go. I'm doing another loop-de-loop. And you guys, please have some grace on me with these angles. I'm trying to get it together. And also, my phone decided to die, okay, while I was mid-recording. So it's going to be a little piece on the side that I didn't get to record. But keep the same idea in mind as I gave you for all the other designs. So this braid right here is a very short braid that's going to be added into the one main braid. And I did see some comments on her post about, you know, technically it's 2 braids because there's another start. But she said that because it was so short, she didn't consider it as 2 braids, but it's still pretty much 1 braid. So again, it's a freestyle style. So you could do whatever design you wanted, and maybe you didn't need that extra braid to go into it. But I tried to do it as close as I possibly could to hers. And I will say, as I got to the side right here, I just wanted to go ahead and get it done because, like I said, she was in some pain and I didn't want that for her. So I kind of started to freestyle it and, you know, just throw in some designs so that we could get through the style. That's the fun thing about a design style or freestyle, that there's no one way to do it. You know, you could kind of go with the flow and create your own art. So I just did a little snake right there. You see me part out all the sections, and again, you can use clips or rubber bands to hold your section. And I just took that braid back and forth, back and forth. They call it a snake braid or a worm braid. And I'm coming off to the last few sections of the style, and I just braided that on up. And this is the part where it gets fun. You are to hide the end of the braid, okay? So because her hair was so thick, it made it a little more challenging to hide it. I believe on more fine hair, you can easily hide it. But the thicker the hair, it will become hard to hide the tail. But like I said, go for it. And I did use a needle and thread to secure that end of the braid. And you just want to sew it down really good and tie it and cut it off just like you normally would do with the thread. Now moving on to the baby hair. Y'all know we got to have these baby hair. So I'm just flat ironing her to give it a pre-curly texture. This is optional. You don't have to do this, and I don't recommend doing this often. And I'm going in with my favorite, which is the Edge Booster. Y'all should know that by now. And I'm just going to create my swoops and loops. Some people like a lot of baby hair. Some people don't like a lot. So just consult with the client to see what they prefer. All right, and once I was done with that, here goes the final look. Okay, y'all, so this was very fun to do and very different. You know, it reminds me of the old throwback design braids, or we used to say freak when you want to freak your braids. You know, freak it. So it's pretty much just a freestyle and design and seamless. There's no tail. You don't know where it ends. It's super cute and super fun. It gives you the illusion that you have a bald head or a low cut style in a sense, kind of giving like finger waves but with braids. And it's super cute. Like I said, you can tweak it and design it however you like, but the main idea is just that it's one seamless braid and you don't know where it ends. I answered a smile and this is what I get. Yeah, look at her. It still came out super cute. And shout out to Tookiedidit for inspiring us all. The internet is definitely in a frenzy right now about this hairstyle, so I'm glad to see it. I hope you all were able to get some type of inspiration or insight from this video. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave it in the comment section and I'll get back with you. Make sure that you like and subscribe. Also, Turn on notifications because you don't want to miss what's coming next. Okay? Alright, I'm going to see y'all in the next video. Peace be.